Well, today I'm working on my CNC router, and my intention is to get it square, and I can do that, but the problem is the other day I was messing with it. I guess I should probably explain a little what's going on here. This is what I would call the cross member of the gantry, and it is mounted to the linear bearings which slide back and forth on these x-axis rods. So this is the I guess it's the x-axis cross member, and it mounts to the bearings using these little sleeves that have screws, two 1032 screws. Alright, and there's a little bit of slop in the screws, and I discovered that because whenever this was mounted normally like that, I was able to grab onto it and give it a shove and tug, and I could actually feel the gantry turning or pivoting back and forth, and that's not a good thing. If I can do that by hand, I don't know how much cutting force I'm going to experience as I'm cutting wood or aluminum, but it certainly would not be good if I took all the time to square up really square the y-axis to the x-axis, and then as soon as I start cutting my piece, it pushes and slips, and the y-axis is now off because it slipped. In order to eliminate that problem of the linear bearings being able to turn a little bit even though the screws are tight, I put a carbide coating on. I sanded off some of the paint, I just put some carbide coating in the area that touches the linear bearing sleeves, so that whenever the screws are tightened, it will have a higher friction between the two pieces and will lock them better. Now I thought about ways that I could completely fix the sleeve to the cross member, like adding a third screw, or could I weld it on? But then I realized, no, I actually want to be able to pivot the linear bearings just so that I can have the ability to adjust to make it perfectly square. If it was welded and I happened to weld it and it warped or something, it's going to be slightly off and I'll never be able to fix that. So I need a little bit of adjustment ability, but only when the screws are loose. I want to tighten the screws down and have it stay to where I can trust it. So I'll put this together and then I'll be able to make an assessment. Hopefully, I'll see if I am able to, if I'm able to make it move after I've tightened down the screws. So the machine's mostly back together. I'm going to just initially use a T-square to rough in the squareness. Eventually I'll try to use a dial indicator and actually measure it, but I need it to be pretty close before I can do anything like that. So I just use a T-square and put it as best I can. I'm now going to lock down the linear bearings onto the cross member, and hopefully the carbide coating will make a difference and I shouldn't be able to move this cross member at all. Now for the pull test. It's stronger than I am. Carbide did a phenomenal job. Now I can actually trust that the machine will stay square after I align. We've been fighting with this for years. I'm so glad it is fixed.